Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Okay, we're gonna start off with this whole Nina, Ava, and eventually Porsha scene because in all reality, all three of them are out of pocket in some ways, right? So Nina, she's already sniffed there drinking, didn't even wait for Ava to show up. Ava gets there and she talks about how Willow is married to Drew now, and she's clearly not happy about it and everything. And Ava has to give her some more bad news. And after stalling for a little bit, she basically sits there and says, "By the way, I told Porsha that you technically threw her under the bus, to sit there and save your daughter." Now, Nita's upset about it. And Ava does what Ava does best when there's something wrong. She mitigates it, right? She's like, well, eventually she was going to find out, and, you might as well just sit there and come clean, and it's not going to be the end of the world, and this, that, and the third. I'm like, man, where have I heard that before, Ava? Oh, yeah, when you switched Morgan's pills and gave him placebos. Oh, well, I thought his parents was going to figure something out and figure that, he wasn't acting like himself. All over again, right? Now, Portia went to the police station to look for Curtis. When she gets there, she sees that Curtis is with Jordan. Remember, well, yeah, she's with Jordan. So she looks at the situation and gets upset. And I'm like, Portia, let's be honest, girl. I get that you're not happy about that situation, but you out here isn't there having an affair behind this man's back. So let's not sit there and try to act like you have some sort of moral high ground because you don't. You're coming across as a damn hypocrite. But oh no, it doesn't stop there. So she texts Ava and it's like, hey, listen, I need to vent. And Ava's like, hey, this is where the spot I'm at. Come through. Now, the idea is to sit there and get them both in the room, talk about it, and be like, hey, listen, it's not that big of a deal. We're friends, and it's hard to come by, and whatever motivational TED talk that she was sitting there going on about, just to sit there and get them to squash it. But when Portia gets there, it doesn't go well, right? It does not go well. And I think at one point, Nina goes to the restroom, and Portia goes in afterwards. They were talking for a hot minute. It didn't go anywhere. Then, Portia got really upset when she went in the bathroom and was just going at Nina. Basically, Smith saying, you're out here, Smith, trying to save your train wreck of a daughter, and you threw me under the bus. Because Nina was like, listen, I didn't sit there and tell them everything. I just want to sit there and create reasonable doubt. And once again, Portia comes across as a hypocrite. Because I'm like, girl, you literally falsified test reports to save Trina. Even though that you didn't know if she was actually going to come after Trina, but just the very thought, just the mere thought of your daughter being in danger, and you decided to do what you did. But you want to sit there and come at Nina for doing. She would have did the exact same thing that Nina did. So I'm like, girl, you out of pocket. And I'll just tell you the truth, the last thing you want to be sitting there doing is start talking shit about somebody else's daughter. Because you know damn well if Nina would have sat there and talked shit about Trina, her ass would have been sitting there trying to grab every sort of hair extension that she could have. She tells her that she's pregnant. I don't know why, but she just did. I guess it's trying to make her feel more guilty. Then this chick decides to put hands on her and start fighting her in the bathroom, while she's pregnant. And of course, having what they call a geriatric pregnancy on top of that. Hey, Portia, uh, you are something else. And I do not mean that in a good way. Now, Dante pretty much told Rocco that you're not going to sit there and see Gio. And, they're going back and forth. And Rocco isn't there looking for Lulu for support. And Lulu backs Dante on the basis that Rocco has been having a very bad pattern. And it started with, um, knowing that Charlotte was on the run and where she was with Valentine, not saying anything. So she's like, listen, I'm backing him. You have been making some poor choices. Regardless, Gio not been making some poor choices. Rocco gets angry, starts lashing out, and comes at Dante with something completely unrelated as far as, well, you shouldn't be one talking about family because you left us twice. And I'm like, well, the thing is, yeah, he says what he says and he walks off. And then Lulu, Dante's like, so, I mean, do you feel the same way? And, you can tell even before she says it, she pretty much agreeing with him. Now, yeah, he did leave. It's a bit of a gray area because the first time that he left, he said that he left because he wanted to protect her. This was a point that I wasn't watching it. Apparently, some guy came after her. And, Dante was like, listen, I guess he was like, it's better for me to bring the fight to this guy than for him to sit there and come back. Because Dante can't sit there and watch Lulu 24/7. He was like, listen, I'm going to come back there and I'm gonna bring the fight to him. Okay, fine. You came back, you had PTSD, so you decided to get help. But it wasn't the fact that he went to go get help, it was the fact that he pushed her away. Now, Rocco winds up going to Sonny's place. Sonny is with Rick, and I guess it's still Thanksgiving night or whatever. And Thanksgiving night, they're hanging out, they're talking about their daughters and everything like that. Rick is like, listen, our daughters have come a long way, you know, given what wound up happening and their best buds again and everything like that. As a way to sit there and be like, hey, listen, if they can do it, we can do it. But see, there's differences though. And I think the biggest difference that I can sit there and think of is that they're older. Older people tend to hold grudges a lot longer. You know, betrayal at an older age just hits differently than when you're Molly and Christina's age. Anyway, while they're getting along and they're talking about the trial and his strategy and everything like that, and they're just kind of laughing, just having a good time, Rocco comes in. And Rocco tells Sonny about what wound up happening with Dante forbidding him from seeing Gio. And he's like, I want to sit there and stay with you. So Sonny gives him pretty much the full house pep talk, right? You can watch the scene. It's a good scene and everything. And texts Dante and be like, hey, listen, your son's over here, yada, yada, yada. And also reminds him, like, yo, listen, you're not bad. Like, you can't just be out here just running the streets like that. Like what are you doing? Anyway, now Nathan is interrogating um Nathan is interrogating Curtis. And Jordan's there, and Jordan's not there doing just pretty much it's really sad. I really do feel like the reason why they couldn't sit there and get a lawyer or have him wait for a lawyer or anything like that was because, let's be honest, they would have to pay somebody. I mean, the fact that Jordan isn't there being Curtis's lawyer is just laughable at this point. Like, yeah, she did her job, she did her thing, or whatever. Well, she did her thing as best to sit there and mitigate the situation. But honestly, to tell you the truth, it didn't really go anywhere. And All this time he's been there doing this flashback of him paying Selena to arrange, somebody to, take out Drew. But honestly, tell you the truth, if you really start to think about it, it was $1 million. You didn't kill Drew. You might want to sit there and try to get a refund because, I mean, come on. And Selena was like, oh, I know a guy. But the guy didn't actually do what he said he was going to. Drew is still alive and moving and walking and talking and breathing. He's among the land of the living. What are we doing at this point? Anyway, um, interrogation's over. They go back to Savoy. And, at this point, Nathan's like, let's talk to the staff. Let's sit there and try to get a warrant for the security camera and stuff like that. I want to know who's in that car. When Curtis go back to Savoy, he's like, listen, I had a lot of the cops. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then it just stops right there. Now Kevin's back, and Laura pretty much tells Kevin, "Hey, listen, Sonny helped me out with the crime. I mean, Sonny helped me out with the cover." Kevin is blaming himself because he's been gone so long, and he feels like you probably wouldn't have had to turn to Sonny if I was different, right? Meanwhile, Kevin's phone is blowing up, right? And it's one of those things where it's like you're here, but you're not here. I get it. He's a therapist. He has people texting him and calling him all hours. And plus, there's a new patient that's not there going in for treatment and stuff like that. But like the minute that he winds up leaving, he's like, "Oh, we'll talk about this later on." I'm like, I don't know. It's weird because it's like there is really no reason to sit there and recast him because it's not like, well, let me put it this way. It's kind of weird because it's like I don't know if he's on contract with Beyond the Gates, right? And I don't know why, but I feel like Kevin is more important or is more central in this show than Ned is to some extent, right? I don't know why. Um, I mean, Kevin is married to Laura, and it's really weird that she was going through all this stuff, not just this, but the election and everything like that, and like Kevin's not there, right? With Ned, they don't really show Olivia that much. When she is, she's at the hotel, da 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 da. It's I don't feel like he's as central or as important. Like he comes in for the family gatherings and things of that nature. And it's the same thing with Days of Our Lives. He comes in for the family gatherings to be a lawyer. Um, because him and Bonnie aren't really on a show that often, but I feel like Kevin is. you know, especially with all the stuff that she's going through. And let's be honest, I don't know how long he's going to be gone from the show, but like at some point he's going to have to come back. So while people are happy, oh my God, Kevin's back, it's like, okay. Like, I think people are getting a little too excited, okay? And now I understand just how popular and practically in demand in that show on Beyond Gates is. Yeah, to be sitting there celebrating that he's back. Like, why? Like, I said this yesterday. I watch a lot of different shows, so when people are just watching General Hospital, they're happy that he's back on. What they don't understand is that he's on literally another show. And if you were watching that show, for better or worse, you would know how much of a central character he is in that show. So there's that. Gio and Emma. Well, Gio was literally sat there and said, "So you just got a note saying that the animals are in so and so? Like, you don't think that's a trap?" Emma's like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because if we get caught, it's not just jail time. You're going to ruin whatever sort of relationship you have left with Dante." And pretty much, Gio's like, "Yeah, F Dante. I don't care." And they decide to go. And I'm like, it's going to be a trap. Emma did sit there and say, most likely. Jocelyn got the information out of him and was able to sit there and give her the note, pass it along, and maybe that's what she did. I don't know. All I know is, I mean, Sonny gets a knock on the door, and you could just sit there and play the song "Who Let the Dogs Out" because they just walk in with a bunch of different dogs, and including Outback, which I don't know why he was there, but okay. Um, I would have personally loved to sit there and adopt the pug. Personally, I mean, if I was in a position to really sit there and do that, I feel like just personally, I feel like I'm a little too busy to really be sitting there taking care of an animal. But if I did, I would have definitely adopted a pug. I don't remember a pug being there because I swear it was, but anyway, the point is, they just run in the house, and Sonny's like, "What the hell is going on?" And Emma's just sitting there smiling. I was like, "I don't know if you want to sit there and smile because if one dog shits on this man's carpet, I don't think that he's gonna find that shit funny or cute." Just saying. Um, Now I feel like that is pretty much. Porsha, Larson. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. I might have missed some stuff here or there, but um, yeah, I think that's the gist of the episode. Now we'll be doing a live stream tonight. I'm trying to shoot for 8, and I will sit there and send on the community tab, let people know what time I'm doing this stream. Also, I put out another short yesterday, so if you didn't check it out, definitely check it out. I am loving this short series so far. It's pretty good. Looks so damn good. Trust me, I had to go through a lot of fuck ups before I can actually produce a couple of good ones. So definitely check those out. With that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next video.